Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Overboy and I'm going to be doing my review for the 1985 movie Return to Oz. This movie follows Dorothy as she is sent back to Oz and finds it in complete ruin and everything, and it's been taken over by Princess Mombi and the Gnome King, and she has to find a way to stop them and restore Oz back to its peaceful state. And along the way she meets some new friends, TikTok, the General Army of Oz, Jack Pumpkinhead, and the Gump, who is this moose head, and she's joined, instead of Toto, she's joined by a chicken named Belina who can actually talk this time. But yeah, that's pretty much the story of the movie. I've always really liked this movie a lot, and I grew up with it, not as much as I did The Wizard of Oz, and this is kind of a standalone sequel. I'm kind of going through my Wizard of Oz movies that I have and everything, because I've got some plans for this fantasy franchise ranking thing that I'm wanting to do and everything. And even though these movies aren't technically connected, I'm still including them anyway. This one and a few other Oz movies I'm going to be reviewing over the next few weeks. But I really enjoy this one. I know it's one of those that a lot of people haven't seen it, and those who have talk about like how terrifying it is, and it is kind of like a horror movie. It never really scared me as a kid. I never really got the creepiness of it till, but rewatching it now, I can kind of see why people would have been scared of it. I was like 8 or 9 years old when I saw this movie for the first time, so it didn't really scare me. I thought it was more cool than anything. It kind of had a creepy feeling to it, but it wasn't scary. And I watched it the very first time I ever saw this movie was in the middle of the night. I was over at my grandparents' house, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and it came on Disney Channel and everything, because they would play movies late at night, and sometimes I would stay up late to see what they were playing, and that was the one they were playing, and I instantly fell in love with it. It took a few months. My grandfather found it for me on VHS, and I wore that tape out pretty quickly, but I loved Return to Oz. I think it's a really, really good movie. Veruca Balk plays Dorothy, and she's just absolutely great in here. I wouldn't say she's as good as Judy Garland, because that's kind of in a class of its own, but I think she was really good as Veruca Balk. Veruca Balk was really good as Dorothy. I'm sorry, I'm kind of tired. But she did a really, really good job playing her, and I love the new characters and stuff, especially TikTok. He's just really lovable and fun to watch. Jack Pumpkinhead is kind of annoying now. When I was a kid, I liked him a lot more, but he doesn't bother me too bad. He's still pretty good. And Princess Mombi is pretty creepy. She's a good villain, and the Gnome King is also a pretty good villain too. And everything. I will say though that some of the visual effects, most of them hold up very, very well. They have a lot of really awesome 80s practical effects and makeup effects and stuff, but some of the claymation stuff doesn't hold up quite as well. It works fine for the movie though. Like really, it feels like a dark 80s movie, and it's still a lot of fun. And everything. I was really surprised at how well it held up and everything, because I hadn't seen it in a long time. It's been a really long time since the last time I watched Return to Oz, but it holds up very, very well, and everything. I was amazed, like the practical effects and stuff, and like the effects on Jack Pumpkinhead especially. He looks amazing, and everything, but like it holds up pretty good, and it's a pretty underrated movie. I know a lot of people that have seen it have loved it, and there's a lot of people that have seen it that didn't like it because it's not anywhere near like what the original Wizard of Oz movie is, and it's technically a sequel, but it's not. It's like a standalone thing. It's not anything that's actually connected to the original movie. It doesn't have it's not even a sequel to a remake of the movie or whatever, but I love the tone too. It's got a much darker tone and feels more in line with the Oz books. If you're familiar with the books, you know they get pretty dark and stuff, especially the Wonderful Wizard of Oz book. It was a lot darker than the 1939 movie, which is the main reason why I wouldn't mind seeing a remake of it if they did one to follow the book better. But this one is actually based on the second and third Oz books, and I think they did a good job combining the stories together. And it's really entertaining. It's not quite as good as The Wizard of Oz for sure, definitely not even close to as good, but it still is a really good movie and it's pretty underrated. If you haven't seen it, I would definitely recommend checking it out. I'm not sure if it's on any streaming services or not. It might be on Disney Plus, I don't know. If it is, I definitely would recommend checking it out if you haven't seen it, because it is a really fun movie, especially if you love like 80s movies and stuff. This one is really fun, and if you watch it in the right way, it can be kind of terrifying too, because I'm not gonna lie, I was a little high when I watched it this time, and it kind of had me tripping out. But Return to Oz is a really fun movie, and it's very underrated and everything. So I'd say I'd give it a 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie and everything. It's almost 2 hours long, but it goes by really fast, especially once she gets to Oz and everything. But I definitely would recommend it. So anyway, if you have seen Return to Oz, let me know in the comments what you think of it. Do you actually like it more than The Wizard of Oz? I know some people, there are some Oz fans that actually would say they liked it more than The Wizard of Oz. I'm curious to see what you think of that. And it's crazy to think this was a Disney movie. Like, Disney kind of tried to hide this movie for a long time. It didn't really start gaining its cult following until it was released on DVD and stuff, which is weird. And it was weird my VHS copy was from Anchor Bay Entertainment instead of from Disney Entertainment. I thought that was really weird too. I guess Anchor Bay had rights to older Disney movies at that time. I don't know why, but yeah. So anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of Return to Oz, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.